fancy.
Hello and welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. My name is Brogan and today we are doing a simple signals live stream. We are on 30 minutes earlier than we usually are. I want to just get it out there. I just want to get streaming. I was too impatient because I was so excited to do the stream tonight that I thought I'd do it 30 minutes earlier. So welcome to everybody here on the stream now. Before I get into any of it, I do have some things I need to point out, which is none of this is financial advice. None of this should be taken with any sort of, I should put it in my headset actually as well. None of this should be taken with any sort of financial advice or anything along those lines. This is clearly my opinion on how I think the market's going. You shouldn't invest in based on what I said in any regard at all. Moving on from that, the description, there's multiple links down there. Turn the mics down a bit as well. Check the description out as well. There are some links down there, especially for Fairdesk. If you've not signed up to it already, there is a link down there, and you can go do your copy trading, which you will find within the app. It will guide you. There's our Telegram as well. So if you have not in our Telegram, we do have a Telegram, which is very important. If you do want to get involved with us, if you do want to talk to me or ask me any questions or ask about any trades or anything like that, we will be talking in the Telegram. The link to our indicator is also in Telegram, so if you do see the indicator being used very frequently, as it is in my normal TA and anywhere I do, I always use our own indicator. So if you do think it looks pretty useful, then do go head over to Telegram. Watching the order levels, do go over to Telegram and check it out. I think that is all I need to the many things I need to say. For the intro, I think that's pretty much it. I was going to look at the markets quickly, like the general movement of the market. Some things, I mean, it's you can see. Oh yeah, these are obviously the top currencies, but we'll get into it by filter. Things have been moving, and like I said, for me anyway, this is my personal thing. But if I ever see 4chain completely green and positive on CoinMarketCap, I know it's a good day. I know it's a very good day. So we can clearly see Thorchain is quite heavily up throughout on all time frames, which CoinMarketCap displays to us. But it's heavily anticipated right now. I believe it is at our time, which is I think UTC +1. Obviously there is the meeting. So that's going to really affect the price of Bitcoin. Our first coin we're going to look at is also Bitcoin to update the charts. That we shouldn't look too long on that. As well, obviously we've got Ethereum, Solana, TIA, and Matic. The other coins I'm looking at, obviously I've looked at 3 of those already. Ethereum, Solana in more detail than the other 2, TIA and Matic. Matic is a new one, haven't looked at it yet. It's not a new coin, but haven't actually drawn any TA on it on stream. So we'll also look at that. I should also start the clock. There we go. Clock is now started. That is our hour countdown. But it's more for me than it is for anybody else. But I kind of to try and keep myself on time. Hidden agendas. I'm actually going to start looking at the comments now. What is JUP going to do? Up, down? Well, I mean, it's. I think it's. I don't know how much I could bet on this. I'm not too sure, but I think it might go up from where we are now. I think it might go up. I think it's been hovering so far. There's not really many charts I can go look at. Obviously, I know it literally immediately got listed on. I think it's on crypto.com, but it wasn't really announced properly. KuCoin, I think it's on Mexi as well. It's on numerous places. It shows it in TradingView as well. But it's on Binance. So I think Binance had like a bit of a lag period. I think it was only 30 minutes though. So I think it's also on Binance now. So it's on all the big exchanges already. So I don't expect it to like hover and go, I don't know where it's going to go and go down. I expect it to go up pretty heavily. As with many things coming with this next meeting, which should be quite positive. And if it is positive, the prices of everything should go up. Obviously, we will get into that when we actually go into the Bitcoin chart. And I will explain what that means for everything, all the other coins, pretty much every other coin actually, because if Bitcoin's going up, everything else is going to be going up realistically. Obviously, there's outliers there, but I think JUP is definitely going to go up. I don't really think. I mean, it might hover. There might be some action, but there's like literally no one selling. That I think there was on the JUP website. There was like a graph of the buys and the sells, or the buy demand, sell demand. Literally no one was selling their coins. There was so much buy demand, and what normally happens in normal supply demand graph. When you have so much more demand than supply, and it moves the demand up on supply, it basically means whether it be sustainable or not that the supply is there, it basically ups the price since there's so much more demand. It doesn't mean supply is decreasing. It does mean the available supply because of the demand. It doesn't mean they're scaling back on. It's not means they've gonna produce less. Or obviously I know this is normal economics, but It doesn't mean anything like that. It means there's just more demand, which can't fulfill as fast as it is being demanded, which will completely bump the price up. So there's so many things, within either just normal common sense economics and the fact that it's been listed so many other places, and the project itself. It's a hurrah type of project. The features it has on there. It's going to be a big competitor, especially if you compare Uniswap and their token, that's market cap, and kind of the valuation of the project itself. I believe it's in the billions. I don't think it's like really high billions, but I can't remember exactly what the cap is. But if it gets to any sort of location like that, we're going to see dollar JUP prices for sure. But I'm quite excited for that. I'm very excited for that to get to that point. I will sell a bit maybe, but I probably will keep holding some because of their. I believe there is the system where you hold the currency, you get given certain currencies which are like new listed or whatever. So I probably will just keep some more JUP. I mean, especially for the fact that I'm not going to sell it anytime right now. I'm definitely going to hold it. I do advise, obviously not financial advice, but I would advise myself, if I was talking to myself, that I would just hold the JUP. But other than that, I think we should just get into. We should get into the markets. I mean, there's much more to add to it. Let's quickly look at Bitcoin. So we're hovering. So 24-hour with 0.07, so it's not really moved, and we can see why. Now, I would attribute. Let's just go to the graph. I would attribute the fact that we've only moved 0.07% to tiny things. It actually could be something to do with the market. Bitcoin's doing this, doing that. No, I attribute it to the fact that our indicator, crypto warehouse indicator, is telling us that we should stay below this price. I don't think Bitcoin is moving in any way by itself. I think our indicator is clearly saying that we should be staying down. And that's not in my opinion. That is what the indicator is telling me. We have this resistance point at 43,573. Which our very special indicator has pointed out to us, where it talks to the little men in the background who work everything, and they go, what's the price going to bounce off, and it goes, okay, well, it's going to be 43.5. Oh, okay, cool. And then there you go. So this is black magic. Okay, it looks into a crystal ball and it gets the prices by magic and the weather and the lunar cycle. We get to figure out these support and resistance zones, and it works pretty well in my opinion. Obviously, this is this isn't a magic indicator. This isn't going to give you much money, but it has been very helpful for me. Now I drew these two arrows just before the stream, not too long. I was posting it in our Discord because one of my members, Raf, it's not a member, but a member within the Discord. Was like, okay, I think this is what's going to happen with Bitcoin. I think we're going to test back down to 42k resistance or support, and then go back up again. I drew these lines and screenshotted it. So this is what I kind of see happening with Bitcoin. Obviously, if you have been on every one of our streams since I started this back on Friday, you're probably sick of this Bitcoin graph because I've had it up so many times and I've talked about it so many times. But I'm not going to wait too long. This is just a quick update on how it's following and where I see it going, heading towards a couple of days future. Well, the meeting is very soon. I believe it's 10, and that's going to, I think it's like 10 our time. So you can see bottom right, it's UTC +1. aka, so whatever time it is for you right now, in 2 hours, the meeting's occurring. And people are saying it's going to be very positive news. So if it is, then that means obviously Bitcoin is going to be going up. Good news, bullish, boom, boom. We're probably going to break this resistance point. So we've got two lines here. The red and the blue kind of lie on each other, suggesting obviously it doesn't come from down here. It comes from up here. So I can put it like here maybe. But it's still the same concept. Obviously, these aren't time-based, anything like that. These lines aren't based on the time it's going to take. It's just kind of a general market movement of where Bitcoin's going to go. I think we're finally going to break above this, resistance point, which we've been at. We bounced off it back here on 16th of January, and this was the biggest bounce we've ever seen. And obviously, support and resistance. When you're bouncing off it, if you see this sort of thing where you bounce off it, obviously these wicks, it could be news-based, whatever. When you see a bounce off like a resistance or support point, and it's this huge movement down, and we had this kind of crab, we were bouncing between these support and resistance points. We actually bounced off the proper resistance point. It wasn't like a 2% padding range, and we just carried on going down. It was really bad. So this was clearly a really strong liquidity point of just sell. So But what was good news, which I'm getting onto, was the fact that we've been sitting at it. So this is the 4 hour. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got about 6. So if you do simple math, so 6, 12, 18, 24. So that's 24 hours if you figure that out. Obviously, we bounced below, came back to our support. Raf was saying, or Yoda, obviously he's got different names, but are a very good helper and friend and big member of the community, and our associates within Crypto Warehouse. He was talking about 42k. Yeah, I mean, well, the Black Magic indicator itself, it's suggesting to us 41.78. Obviously, 41.925 is the padding. I always put a 2% padding on whatever support resistance zone, because that's normally, it's kind of like a front run-ish situation where if you see a support point, you kind of, kind of pad it downwards, or resistance point, you pad it upwards, whatever it may be. But in this case, yeah, it was nearly 42. But I saw, a bounce off of 42.4. Which we kind of saw, we bounced off, and then we came below, but then we stayed above it, and we bounced off it again, like within today, but like 9 a.m. today. So, we have tested it. So I think if we were to retract, it would come down to 42.4. But it depends how long we're going to keep this going with. So when was this candle printing? So this is at 5. So this will happen in 9. So this will happen in 42 minutes. Yeah, 42 minutes. Obviously, there'll be a new candle. So it depends on where we print at. If we print above, within this, resistance range, then we're probably going to keep on going there and then break above. But as he was suggesting that we could go to 42k, we could print quite heavily red, towards 43k. And then continue to go downwards, bouncing off. I think it would be 42.4k, and then going up. And if it is 42.4k, it's going to be even bigger move than what could happen here if we start from here and go up only 2%. Obviously, I know for Bitcoin 2% is a great deal, but regardless, obviously in 2 hours this news is going to definitely, as the comment said, pamp it. It's definitely going to pamp Bitcoin. But I only really think it's going to go to 44.2. I don't think it's gonna rocket up. I think okay. So the blue line is basically where I see it bouncing from. You could move this up to the top of the padding, about 43.7. It does depend though, because it is also a 2% padding. But I think we're only going to reach 44.2, and then we're going to see we're going to probably have a big move upwards, breaking this really hard, tough resistance point, going up to 44.2, I think, which I believe Crypto Lifer had a long in right now, which he's probably going to be losing in, to be fair. Actually, I'm not sure. No, yeah, I think he'll be losing in. So that's unfortunate for Crypto Lifer. He was adamant on his stream that we were going to pump right now. I don't know why he would think we were going to pump right now. I don't know why he thought that, but obviously that's his TA, I suppose. I can't judge him for it, but I don't think we're going to pump right now. I think we're going to pump it when it gets closer towards the news, maybe even front running the news because of everyone's kind of understanding of what the news is going to foretell, I suppose, or entail, I should probably say. Good evening to you. We are currently doing Bitcoin on the 4 hour. I'm kind of just talking about what's going to happen with the news and what that's going to mean for Bitcoin's movement. But I think this is going to give us the push we need to break this resistance point. I do think we're going to go to 44.2, but with Crypto Lifer, what I do agree with him on is the fact that he's put his take profit at 44.2. I do think, he put it for 44.21. I think we have this range. Now, we could enter at 44k pretty much exactly and see some sort of hoverage. Because in fair value gaps, you can the kind of area you can see a recession in, if it's a bearish fair value gap, is either you just slightly enter the fair value gap and drop, or you can go to the midpoint and then drop. So I've just done it to the midpoint because obviously this could be very bullish. Again, this could just fall under. This fair value, it's not a be all end all thing. It's just fair value gap is just a translation of different market things. So it's not like it's some magic box which is going to give us all the money. So I think 44.2, roughly 44.150. Obviously, if I lessen this box a bit, it could be 44.150. It's like 44.160. So it's going to be within this 100 range of 44, where I think we're going to bounce off. Especially we've got 44,000. If we go towards 44,000, that's obviously a big round number. So we could see that bounce as well. So, but it does depend of how strong. Obviously, this could be a really strong movement for Bitcoin. So we could just completely ignore this fair value gap. But getting onto that, if we do have this blue line where it continues to go upwards, I think at 44.7 towards 45.1, I'm not too sure. It's quite a big gap. So within like the 45k, 44.7, we could see another kind of a bigger sort of not pump, but like a recession-based, not recession, but a retractment of the price if we reach this sort of area. But if we do, from where we are right now, that's a huge movement. So it depends on how if I don't even know if the news is going to bring it to that point. So that's why I have two. That's why I have two lines here. I don't know if it means we're going to go up. I should probably do a third line actually, where it kind of just breaks everything. Give me that green. There we go. So this is kind of this kind of situation we could see. I don't like doing okay. Go here, 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 or here. I don't like doing this. But like it's true. It could have these movements. Red pill, blue pill. Yeah, I mean, I like to use red pill. I did it with pipe as well. When there's two options, obviously it has to be red pill, blue pill. I couldn't do green and orange. It has to be red. But I have thrown this green pill into the mix, which we haven't really seen before. So we do have three options. We could just completely ignore this fair value gap and go towards the 45k. I don't think we're going to break past any of this. I don't think this is going to be what's going to make us break past this. I could be proved completely wrong. Fine, whatever. But I don't think we're really going to just completely ignore this. I think this is going to be a considerable. This could be something considerable. But we do have two ranges here for this gap. So that's how I kind of see what Bitcoin's doing. That's what I kind of see it playing out as. I think this is going to be obviously when this all news comes out, I'll probably post in the Telegram. I'll probably end up moving these lines a bit this way because this. It's not going to happen in 4 days, and the union's going to happen in 2 hours. So I might have to zoom in on the 1 hour and draw the lines there to kind of demonstrate what I was talking about. But I will probably post the outcome of my, if it follows any of my lines, I will post the outcome on Telegram. But I think that's it for Bitcoin. I don't really have much more to say. I mean, I suppose I could look back a bit to see if we do manage to break all these considerable points. Do we have anything else consistent? I don't really think so. There's no market shift. I mean, the reason why I have faith in these here is because of this market shift. Because obviously we had these higher lows, and then we had this low here, which kind of broke our whole system. Within this area, I'm not going to draw it because I'm not going to get into the detail because I'm going to move on quickly. But within this area, we do have a market shift, which kind of has to follow the fair value gap in order for it to be something actually substantial. But we do have it within here. Obviously, if I get the indicator which shows it, it'll show it for us. But it does validate the fair value gap. So I do think they are, they're not just some fluke. I don't think they're invalid. It just does depend how big this news pumps the price. If we just completely ignore these fair value gaps or not. But as soon as we ignore it, it's not going to play. But if it is really bullish, it could do a situation where we do see something and then we just completely ignore it. Similar with this blue, but it could be a bit faster. But it could be a bit more, it can't be, maybe it's something which doesn't show as well because of how fast the price is moving upwards. But, we'll see. Again, I'll screenshot it, we'll see how the price moves in, an hour and a half roughly, so it's going to be pretty exciting. I'll probably post it when it happens, or I'll probably start watching the chart as it happens, and then post it there in our Telegram. So the next one we're going to is Ethereum. I'm probably not going to keep this for too long, but... we're on 4 hour. I think I did the T on the 4 hour. I believe so anyway. So we had this, I think we were talking about, right, okay, so we were talking about this area of liquidity where we had this, we kind of arched out here. We kind of arched up into this area here, and then as we touched it, we just completely came down. So in this situation, obviously, I was saying this line, if we enter, in the area above this line, we could see something of the sort of situation, which we kind of saw. We saw this, entrance up into this line, kind of bouncing off maybe where we saw some stop, where we saw kind of our candles close at this line here, and then we just, I can't get rid of, there we go, and then we just came right back down. But obviously, if this news comes out, this is going to be positive. If it's positive for Bitcoin, it's going to be positive for the market. And clearly, this is going to be positive for the market. So regardless of what I say, it's going to be bullish, it's going to be bearish, it doesn't matter because this is going to move the price up. So that's why I didn't really look at Market Cipher for Bitcoin. We are above the EMAs. I believe on Bitcoin we were as well, which is a bullish sign. AK, we are bouncing off our EMA here. We can see we bounced off it in this area. We do have our VWAP, kind of posing this upwards movement, which is good. It's a good sign, but it kind of goes. I think I said this last stream. VWAP influences, or VWAP is kind of the precursor to the momentum, and the momentum is the precursor to the money flow. Obviously, the VWAP is more rapid, so you don't listen to it as much. The money flow is more important. So, for example, if you want a more long-term look over your market, you can see like, okay, cool. So our money flow is going down over this period. Our price is moving down, and then we saw it start to round out. We have our round out in our price action. Hold on, let me move that back. There we go. And then our money flow starts to go up. And we can see our price starts to go up. So it's more of a general. That's a real out bike. There we go. It's more of a general. It's more of a general like solid movement type of thing. It's not going to be happening over a really fast time. It's not going to happen like boom. It's not going to move the price of like 3 candles. Let's say it's going to actually happen as kind of a trend. But obviously, as the VWAP kind of goes down, it has these quick movements. If you know what I mean. Check noise reduction on mic. Oh yeah, it should be blue, shouldn't it, actually? There you go, that should be good. Hopefully it doesn't cut my voice out. Hopefully the bikes are gone. Let me turn the volume up again then. There we go. Yeah, I forgot to turn it on. Thank you me for telling me that. I'm glad I have my my angel on my left shoulder. Kind of chatting for me in the chat to tell me that I should put my noise reduction on. But as I was saying, so the money flow is kind of the general market trend movement, and then the VWAP is these rapid movements, which is kind of you don't really listen to VWAP. Obviously, from the short time frames, the VWAP is quite a fast-paced thing, but it trails with the price movement. So, for example, okay, we see it starts to round up, and we see this like kind of arc up here. So as our price is going down, the VWAP starts to go up. Boom, the price starts to go up, but it's not going to happen over like 20 candles, but it's just a quick precursor to how the momentum moves. Obviously the momentum's kind of the middle ground, so we can see this. Okay, it's a start. It's printing a round out, if you know what I mean. This kind of printing a round out, and then we can see our momentum kind of arcs here. It arcs here and bounces, and it goes up again, and then starts to arc, and it arcs here. So each sector of the market cipher, of market cipher B, kind of correlates with how the price moves. So the VWAP is, how the price moves within these ranges. The momentum is kind of this general movement, and then the money flow is kind of the bigger movement, if you know what I mean. It's kind of the trend. So if the money flow is coming out, it's going to be a negative trend. If the money's coming in, it's a positive trend. So we can see this is a negative trend. So for example, we had bounces within the trend, but it's still a negative trend as the money was coming out. And as the money's coming in, we still bounced as our momentum was demonstrating to us. We had these bounces in the price, but we still had a positive trend. And the VWAP is kind of how the candles move within these kind of ranges or within these kind of movements. So it's a good all-round thing to look at. So as I was saying, we have our VWAP coming upwards, which is a good precursor to the fact if it continues to go upwards, that our momentum will start to go upwards. And in turn, money flow to come out. But the money flow has only really started to go down, over the past within today. So it's not really like it's it's not like a trend reversal. We're really negative, short right now. It's kind of money flow's going up, money flow just starts to go down. It could round out. Similar to how we had over here. You can see money flow, it starts to come down. Obviously, I know this upwards movement wasn't too crazy, but we can have like kind of quick movements in the money flow, which kind of change how the price moves, which is fine. So we have that kind of situation right now. We had big wicks down because of this movement, but it's starting to round out again. So things are starting to round upwards for the kind of the bullish movement, especially with how the news is going to come out. This is going to kind of if I was to say short now, I'd be an idiot because there's literally no point. Because if this news does come out and it's good, then it's like trading right now is probably a bad idea. I'd trade based off the news. I'd go watch it, if you can, if it's not too late for where you are right now. I'd just go watch what's happening. If it's positive news, just go long. I mean, everything's going to go up. And if it's really bad, things are going to go up. Everyone's saying it's going to go. It's going to be good news. So everyone's going to. even before the news actually comes out, people will start front running the positive news, because if everyone thinks the positive news is going to happen, everyone thinks that everyone else thinks that the positive news is going to happen, which means they're going to long before everyone else longs, which means everyone's going to long, which means it's going to go up. You know what I mean? So as the news comes out, whether it be true or not, people are going to front run the people front running, and the front runners are going to think they're front running everyone else, even though everyone else is front running everyone. So everyone's going to be doing the same movement because someone said it's going to happen. So it doesn't matter how the news comes out. If it happens, it's going to happen before the news even comes out, because people think it's going to happen, and people think other people think it's going to happen. You know what I mean? So it could be a situation where, oh, it's going to go up, boom. Oh, the news comes out, and it actually isn't, boom. So we could have, it's not, probably not. I don't really know. Obviously, no one knows what the news is going to be. Well, people have a strong inclination based off history or based off, you know, what they might have kind of insinuated before. Obviously, it hasn't come out, so we can't say for 100%. But if something like that was to happen, it could also happen the other way around. If it's something really bad, if everyone thinks it's really bad news, and it could be really positive news, it's just going to completely recorrect or correct itself. So on the 4 hour, for example, you know, if something like that was to happen, you'd probably see, you know, the candle be really thin, a huge wick, and then it come back because of how the news, you know, everyone front ran it and then came back. So, you know, I don't think that's going to happen. But as I was saying, I don't, you know, regardless of what I say right now, if the news is positive, it's going to go up. And people are going to front run it anyway, so the price is going to go up anyway. So if everyone thinks it's going to go up, things are going to go up. So, yeah, that's it, basically. That's the Ethereum anyway. You know, we're still below. Kishan, hello. Hello, Kishan. Glad you could join us. I don't know how long you just joined. We did talk about Bitcoin just not too long ago. We just finished up on Ethereum. I was basically saying, I was talking about how market life kind of indicates all the stages of the market, but we are unfortunately just quickly moving on to Solana now. I do want to look at Solana because, you know, to be expected. I don't think anyone was really surprised by this, but we did have a freeze in the market. Not a freeze in the market, but Solana kind of slowed down a bit. It didn't actually look like nothing. It looked like nothing really happened. We are staying above our EMA, which is good. So we are bouncing off our EMA. This is very good news. Also, you know, quickly, you know, this is old TA. I know that, but you know, it did pretty well. So you know, we can look at our. Okay, so this is pretty interesting actually. That our money flow and our VWAP are going upwards, yet momentum isn't. Normally, it's either VWAP and the money flow, or VWAP and the momentum are going up, or money flow and the momentum are going up. It's quite strange that they're both going up on either spectrum. So short term, you know, this is going to be going up, and it seems like the trend is positive. We had a quick dip down, but obviously, as you can see, you know, we have this movement upwards. Or we've had a movement down. Seems like we're going to have our money move upwards. So that is like a positive indicator, especially on the 4 hour. So we have positive. That's good. We're not really, you know, we're not overbought, oversold, or anything like that. I think we're at like the 2 range. So we're basically not oversold, overbought. So we could see a correction at the 0 line and start to go upwards again, which is going to be bullish as well. So we could have 3 things go bullish. So, you know, even if I wasn't to know that the news was going to come out, I'd be bullish right now on Solana, even though we are at a resistance point of $103.57, courtesy of Simple Significance, the black magic of the crypto industry. I think that might be a tag of it. I might call it something like that. The black magic of support and resistance, something along those lines. So I would be bullish anyway, but again, like I said, news which people think, an overwhelming amount of people think it's going to be positive. Obviously, like I said, front running the people who believe it. It's a long story. But if the news does come out and it's positive, we're going to break 103.5, probably come towards this fair value gap and probably dip down again, bounce off maybe 105 and, you know, kind of sit within this. If this fair value gap doesn't matter at all, could go to $114.5. I don't know how, you know, that's going to be a huge movement. So I don't know if that's going to happen within then. I would be more confident to suggest that we'd get the path tool. I'd be more confident to say we'd kind of do something like this maybe. Obviously, this will happen over a longer period of time. I don't know how fast. I don't know how long the bullish surge of the news would last for. Would it bring us up towards this price point? We'll see. But if it was to happen, I think we could probably reach $110 and then probably come back down, which isn't a crazy movement. You know, it's like a 5.4% movement. That's more accurate. I don't think we would reach the heights of nearly $115 from this one news thing. We could possibly, it could move a bit more rapidly. But this is what I kind of see happening for Solana to kind of move. But like I said, momentum's looking like it might start to round out. Money flow's already going up, which is bullish. VWAP going up, which is bullish. So we do have a lot of bullish things already. So everything looks pretty good for Solana. So, if you're looking to get in, then, it's a great time. Obviously not financial advice. And we are above our EMA. And it's not like we're really far away from EMA, because the further you get, the more you're supposed to come back to it, if you know what I mean. So, if I don't really do that. Kind of like I was saying with, I still don't know why we didn't enter the fair value gap down here. That really annoyed me, because it makes sense what you should have, but we didn't. But, like I was saying, we were quite far away from the EMA. Obviously, we kind of retracted towards back to meet the EMA, kind of touch base with the EMA, go, okay, you're all right, cool. And then we can carry on going up. I think we're pretty much at a resistance point for all the coins we've looked at, Solana, Ethereum, Bitcoin. Bitcoin especially, with a pretty big resistance point. I think this news is going to let us break all these, which will be, big, like, if our EMA and our price and we're at a resistance point, that's pretty huge. So I think something like that's going to happen. I think we're going to break all the resistance points for pretty much all these main coins. And then the question is how far we're going to go up from this. Well, if Solana's bullish anyway, and we have news, it's kind of a displacement of it's just bringing the price up to here. So our price is bullish. It's like we're going from here to here due to the news, and then instead of playing it out like this with this news, we're just playing it out like this. If you know what I mean, it's kind of messy. Let me draw it over here. Actually, I'll show you what I mean. So we are bullish right now, so we should be going up. So if our price is here and we were bullish, it would kind of do something like this, let's say. But with the news, it could break our resistance point we're at, and the price could start at here, or this movement could start here because of a big wick upwards. And since we're bullish, we can have a bullish movement towards this fair value gap and then come back down, I think. So I think that's kind of what's going to happen for Solana. I might as well put a community post saying we're going to go up. I'm not doing a stream tonight, because that's basically what's going to happen. I don't really think there's going to be something, some pivotal moment in the chart I'm going to look at and go, I've solved the Da Vinci Code. I think we're going to go down, because it doesn't matter, because all of this is going to be based on the news. But I do want to look at TIA quickly, because a lot of things happened. Well, this was, I think did this happen with Ethereum as well? I don't know if I pointed it out actually. No, it didn't. It looked at TIA, but this is pretty good. So in my infinite wisdom and my absolutely amazing TA, we had this occur, which was, or not occur. We had our order block, which I pointed out, which is basically just a resistance point or resistance area. So I'm not really pointing out. I didn't know if this was a fair value gap or not. I'm not gonna lie, but it's it was pretty accurate, which I said was a negative. I don't know if I put a negative. Oh, I don't know why I didn't put a negative order block. I forgot to do that. But it was a bearish order block, and we did hit it and then bounce off it, and we are sitting at support right now. Again, we're prefacing everything, prefacing not as financial advice, but also prefacing that news is going to come out, which is in theory going to be positive, and it's going to bring all these prices up, which will probably switch this up to a bullish breaker block, like we had with, I think, Ethereum. So we could see, I don't know how, but I think TIA will move faster upwards than other coins, obviously, because it's lower down the list, if you know what I mean. So we could see, okay, boom, break, and then obviously we have this big surge upwards, breaking the order block, dipping down into it, and then the sky's the limit at that point. Not really, obviously, I'm joking, but obviously we'd enter it and then kind of going upwards. So TIA looks pretty promising. If we are able to use it out, is it? Let's see. Let's refresh. I thought it was at 10. I would hope that CoinMarketCap would be first to the news. Apparently not, because they are news. Whatever, don't matter. Actually, to be fair, I didn't actually know what time the news is coming out. I thought it was 10 our time. Apparently, it's. No, it is now. Oh, you mean the meeting starts, but when it gets announced, it's later on. We're prepared to maintain the current target for the rate. Right, okay. Oh, so is he said that live now? We have 6 months. Okay. So it said the same. All right. So basically, right. Okay. So nothing changed is what we're saying. Right. Okay. Well, I mean, okay. As much as I want to say, okay, nothing changed. It was not bullish or bearish. I think the expectance of good news and then not happening is bad news, is it not? I don't know. I mean, okay. Well, it means we can go and actually just do normal TA. I could probably, let's just quickly go to check what's going on with this. Is it going to be positive? Okay. Well, we're bullish. Like I said, with all the other coins, I'm not going to bother looking at all of them. I'm probably going to go back to TIA. Expecting it to be March, right? Okay, so it was a little tease. Okay, fine. So we're probably not. Let's just change that back then. So that's not going to happen. What I just said, none of that's going to happen because nothing changed. So that's still negative order blocks. We're not going to break that because there's no reason to. VWAP is going up. Money flow seems like it's rounding out to be like a negative or a neutral gradient, which probably means something along the lines of this. Because obviously, money flow is kind of the trend we see the market going in. So if it's going up, obviously it's a positive trend. Going down, negative. But if it's flatlining, similar to how we saw here, I'll demonstrate. So we had this like multiple 4-hour kind of like go like that, and then we can see that our money flow is also kind of in the same situation. So we're seeing our money flow kind of do the same thing. It doesn't really matter how high or low it is. Obviously, the higher it is, the faster, the larger it'll fall. The lower it is, the larger it'll go up. But it's still a neutral gradient, which signifies to me we'll kind of do that. Probably not for too long, maybe for another 4 hours. But we could probably, if our VWAP continues to go up and our momentum changes, we could see basically a bounce of support up towards this bearish order block. So I'm quite bullish. I'm bullish on TIA. It depends if we print below. I don't think we're going to print below this support point. If we do, we'll probably end up going towards this fair value gap and coming back up again. So even if we do fall, it's not going to fall too much. But I think we're gonna stay here, at this height. Because like over here, for example, we stayed at this height. So I think this green box is kind of said to us where the boxes are gonna kind of stay in terms of its thickness. So I think we might be able to do something like this. If I draw it properly, that is. So we're probably going to stay in this little range here, and then things are going to continue. So it's kind of be like a flat bottom, and then go up to here towards this order block, bearish order block, and then probably enter it. If we have a big surge of liquidity and we go above the order block, we'll probably enter it and then go back up. But I don't know if that's going to happen because I can't see the future. And then we'll probably just bounce. From what I can see, we'll probably just bounce off it again and stay in this range. So bullish on TIA. I think I was bullish on Ethereum. I don't know about Bitcoin. I can go look at Bitcoin again at the end because we've still got 25 minutes. I'm going to actually. I'll do it quickly because I actually need to draw something on Matic because I haven't drawn anything. So I'll do that in a bit. But we're not going to break this. So we're probably. I don't know actually. It's weird because we're really bullish right now, or we're looking like we're going to start to be quite bullish, or definitely a positive trend. Does it mean we can break this? We're probably gonna because like as I said, like I think I talk about it with the EMA quite often as well. Is if we're below the EMA, you want to look for like shorts, for example, or if we're below, or if we're above the EMA, we want to look for longs. We're above the EMA, so it is a long, so that is good. However, we are at a support, we are at a resistance point. So if it means we can't break it, we might be bullish, but we're only really going to move as high as it's like a flea. It's like, okay, the flea can jump really high, but if you put it in a jar and take the jar off, it's not going to jump as high. So our resistance point is this kind of imaginary wall we have. We can only really go up so much unless we break it. So I don't, this is a really strong resistance point we have. However, but like I pointed out when I was doing my TA, I just want 45k break trend. Yeah, I do want. I want it to break as well. I mean, what I said when I was drawing, when I was looking at the Bitcoin charts to update, the difference between back here and now is when we touched it, we had our money flow. We had a really big downward trend. So it was a quick touch. It was the highest point we saw in a while, a big touch, and then we just completely fell down. But the difference is with now is we've been sitting here for the entire time. Whether we're being, bearish or bullish or not, we've been sitting here. So this is a good sign that you know, no matter, like as the markets continue to go on, as it cycles between being bullish and bearish, it's still kind of staying at this point. Obviously, we retracted a bit, but we're right back up it. So we're consistently strong. So it's still strong. We're still, you know, staying below it, you know, for a long period of time. But we're a lot more powerful in terms of just keeping, you know, little hits towards the resistance point. So I don't think it's going to make us bounce all the way back down to 40,000. It could bring us towards, you know, 42 and a half. But you know, it'd be great if we broke. But it's showing bullish on Bitcoin, but I don't really think we're going to move too much. So it's kind of an iffy situation with Bitcoin. What did I say for ETH? Yeah, I mean, we could be bullish, but money flow is good. Yes, I think this is kind of the same situation with TIA. We have a neutral money flow, which basically says to me that our price is going to kind of sit here, which makes sense considering we're kind of between our EMA and this kind of resistance point. So I definitely don't think Ethereum's going to break this point anytime, like based on anything right now. I don't think it's going to break this resistance point. We've been trying, we've been testing it, we keep on falling. Even when we tested here, we were like, oh my god, we made it, and we just fell right back down. So I don't think Ethereum's going to break this. So it's only a matter of time before it starts to turn bearish, and then we fall below. But it depends how far we're going to fall. 2,500 is a wall. Yeah, I mean, we did see some. I mean, yeah, it is a pretty huge wall. Like considering some of the situation I was talking down here. You know, when we touched this price point, we had this huge fall downwards. Similar here, we touched this price point and then had this huge fall downwards. So 25 is definitely also a big wall. But you know, we're not quite near it just yet. Yeah, I mean, we're still, you know, quite a couple percent like away from it. You know, we're still quite a lot of days away from it, I think. Especially with the fact that nothing came out from this news. But yeah, I don't think we're going to break this 23.4 or 23.5 or 2,350, whatever range resistance point we have right here. I don't really think we're going to break this. Like we had here, we tested it. You know, kind of hit this point which we saw before, which came right back down. So I'm not really confident in Ethereum. Although we are seeing it could start to be bullish again, but again, like I said, as I was talking a bunch about market cipher, VWAP is this really rapid moving line where it could easily, as we've seen, it can easily just go boom right back up, and then kind of hover and then come down. I'm trying to find a good example, but we could see with the VWAP is we've come down and now we're coming up, which is bullish. But we could just come down. We could just continue to come down again, which then negates all which could be bullish about this. It really needs to kind of be quite consistent, where the momentum can start to round out again. Even though we are quite overbought, which is not a good thing in terms of trying to be bullish. Our money flow is rounding out, like I said, but the VWAP needs to be consistently moving in a positive direction in order for it to give it enough time for the momentum to change, which is kind of the, like I said, as I was saying, money is kind of the trend. If we have if we're having a positive money flow, we have a positive movement, positive trend. If we have negative money flow, we have a negative trend. But with the money flow, I mean, the momentum is still extremely important, or just as much as it's important from the money flow in terms of its movement, if it's bullish or not. I don't understand how the money flow works. Can you show us or make a video on it? I could definitely make a video on it, absolutely. I mean, I can't tell. I mean, obviously this is market cipher. I can't really go into the code of it because it is a privated indicator. So I can't really go into how they calculate the money flow. But the money flow is kind of, on a simple, if I could give a definition of money flow, it's how the money is coming in or coming out. It's how the money is moving, basically. So as we can see, I'll give like a quick thing. I can do a video. I'll probably actually end up doing a video. I should probably make a series on my setup and go into detail of each section, like market cipher B, market cipher A, symbol significance, and then all that. But but a quick, I'll give it 20 seconds or 30 seconds. So we can see our money flow. It's kind of how it moves. It's not really obviously it's very important how deep it is. In terms of how. So if it's like really deep and it comes really fast back up, we're gonna have a really big, fast, huge movement. Obviously, and if it's a lot more thinner, so if it's like this and we do this, the movement upwards isn't going to be as strong. But what matters more is its gradient. So if we have our money flow count do this, and we have this positive gradient, it's, as I was saying earlier, it's kind of a more meta trend. So as you can see, I'll demonstrate it here. our money flow is kind of sitting at the same position. We can see our price is sitting at the same position, or kind of ranging in this area, kind of crabbing. But then as soon as our money flow starts to be consistently positive, we can see from here, if I zoom in a bit, you can see it a bit easier. We have this positive money flow. Our our trend starts to be positive, obviously, and then you can tell here, money flow starts to be negative again. We have a negative trend. So it's kind of a trend indicator. It's not much of like okay, where we're going to go, what price we can go at. It's more of a trend indicator of what's the money doing, which is kind of the trend. So if the money's going out, if the money's coming out, we have a negative trend. So look for shorts, for example. If we're coming in and look for a long. So for example, here we had our money flow start to kind of round out. It's kind of a lagging indicator, but you can see it start to be positive, and then we have a green dot. Our momentum starts to come back up, and we're oversold, and our VWAP is going up. It would be a great time to long, and we can see as we follow this with this trend or this swing, we can see it's a great movement. It's like obviously it was a bit rough. You'd get out at different positions, but 5% gain for Ethereum, pretty good. But yeah, I'll definitely make a video on it. Hopefully that was pretty quick. However, I think so. Bitcoin, not very. It shows bullish, but I'm not very bullish. Ethereum, I'm not bullish really. TIA, I'm bullish on TIA. Not financial advice. Solana, I forgot what I said for Solana. Solana, I am. Let me see. I'm not very bullish because we're constantly at these strong resistance points. Now I can finally move on to a coin we haven't actually covered on the stream yet, with plenty of time to go over it. Also, bearing in mind, guys, if you do want a coin covered or quickly looked at, wherever it was, or whatever if you just want me to look at like something like that, more chart, not like an actual project, more of a chart. If you want me to do some TA on how the price is going to move, do put it in the comments. I know we had Web3 come in. I believe it was last stream. We looked at AMC. He's heavily up right now as well. But my TA was pretty good. JUP, I'll go look at it. I think it's on Bird Eye. Is it on Bird Eye? I think it's on Bird Eye. I'll go look on Bird Eye quickly. But let me just quickly look at Matic, or Polygon, sorry, and see, could I find something interesting? So I'm seeing something over here. We have quite a thin gap. This doesn't look very strong. I'm going to draw it anyway, though. I always like to draw all my fair value gaps, which I see. It's kind of a line. I'm going to draw a line instead. It's kind of more of a line here at this price. So it's about at 90 cents. It's basically at 90 cents, which is pretty good. I always like to see, if I see like a consistent thing, especially if I see like a support point and it's at 90, okay, cool, that's great. But when I see like a fair value gap, or this kind of situation which is a translation of something going on in the market, like a fair value gap, and I see it lines up with like 90 cents, for example, it gives me quite a bit of confidence. Congratulations for the JUP airdrop winners. Yes, congratulations to everybody. It's been a good day for a lot of people. I think it's made millionaires. I think there's this like 17-year-old who made like quite a lot of money, which great for him. But also, what was I saying? Yeah, so we had this negative downtrend. We had lower lows and whatnot, and then we had this market shift. There it is. So we had a market shift about here. It's not too near by the fair value gap. I'm trying to look over here if we had anything like that. We can probably see it here, and this is pretty good. So we have these. We kind of see like our price start to stop a bit. So we have upwards movement. Obviously, this is quite minuscule. We're on the 4 hour, so it's going to be a bit condensed. We have a small price stop. To our, actually, I probably should put it to the lowest point here. There we go. So we can see it came down and carried on back up, but we crossed its lower point. So we had a negative movement. Obviously, you can see this in the money flow as well. And then we start to have a positive trend. But as soon as we crossed the lowest point, we kind of bounced. Let me draw this properly. I'm drawing it in my hands. It's no point. So we have this positive trend. We bounced, and then had this movement, and then we crossed where it bounced from, which is a shift to the bull side or the bearish side. Obviously, you can see we have a huge downtrend. So we have our market shift and our fair value gap, which I can't really draw here. I don't have it, but we have this fair value gap line here. So so this means it's a good fair value gap. So it's at the 90 cent range, and it's near a market structure shift, which is good, or it's basically at a market structure shift. So this is good news to me. This means it could be something pretty consistent. It's obviously, you know, it is about 10 cents away, so you know, it's quite a way away. But I do like to have it down. If I can see any other points, we kind of had something here which we already entered. We had this here, but we can see we've entered it twice. So interestingly enough, we've entered it twice and seen resistance at it twice. Obviously, we bounced above it, so it's probably some sort of like support resistance. So we kind of bounced at this, and the mid, and this is actually very perfect because the midpoint of the fair value gap area, which is like the box, is normally where you can see the consistency, and we can see it bounced from the midpoint and the bounce from the midpoint again. Like, this is very perfect, and we bounced off the midpoint. So I'm going to keep this here, even though this is quite, you know, this isn't really like true, pure, you know, money concept type of TA, but I'm going to keep it anyway. So we could have some support here, about 79 to 80. That is really, really good. So the top of our fair value gap is 80 cents exactly. Everything's lining up for this. This is perfect. So obviously we're going to have some support here in this area. So this is going to be kind of a supporting. Obviously we have 70 cents down here, but you know, that is the black magic. That is going to be lining up. That is perfect. We do have, you know, obviously this upper movement. I'm not seeing much. We already had this. I mean, I could probably draw it again actually, considering the fact that we entered it once and then entered it again. So we entered it and then obviously came all the way back down, and then then it printed out its own fair value gap, and then we rocked up. You know, we came up and then we entered it again, and then we came back down again. So it does seem like we have this kind of situation here where we're kind of in this sandwich. So that's kind of our boxes and our areas for where I see. Oh, let me just translate these quickly. I'm not seeing anything in terms of like a order block. Realistically, obviously, I mean, we can have order blocks where there's consistently the same. So like here, for example, this would be an order block. Obviously we broke it though, but then we broke that down. So this isn't really a consistent order block, so I'm not going to point that out. But it does seem like we have these kind of sandwiching situation between 82 and 80, which you know, I think this. I don't think this top one is very consistent, but I do think this bottom area here is probably some sort of. Do you know what? It was probably, you know what? This actually, it probably wasn't as much as a fair value gap as it is an order block. Because a consistent order block is when you have an equally width area for the wicks where we come down, or we can see ourselves bounce off it. And then what happened, which turned this into, so it was a bullish, I mean, it was a bearish order block. As you can see, we bounced into it and then bounced off it, and then we continuously bounced into it. And then with the order block, what you need a big wick upwards to go past the order block, which we had here, and then we test back into it, and then we come back out. So in a normal order block situation, I'll draw it with arrows. This is the normal trend you want. For it to go from a order block to a breaker block, it kind of has to do a situation like this, where you might bounce into it, bounce here, big huge spike upwards, bounce back into it, and then continue to go upwards. It's kind of messy, but that's kind of the situation you go into. And we can see that here, we have our surge upwards, bounce back into this area, and then back upwards, and now it's bullish. And now we're using it as support. So now I can probably turn this into a bullish breaker block. So this is our support area, roughly. Obviously, roughly about 80 cents. I might move this upwards. Actually, no, I can't move this. That's not allowed. It's just cheating. It's straight up cheating. I'm trying to keep this like within this width here. So we've kind of got this bullish breaker block area within the, you know, nearing the 80 cent range, towards the 78 cent range, or 79 cent range. So we've got support. We've got this fair value gap area, which we've already entered and used. So when you use when you enter fair value gap, it is normally fulfilled. So it shouldn't really be used again. But it seems like it happened again within this area. So it does seem pretty consistent. So I will point it out again. So I don't really see a lot happening for Matic. In terms of, I think we might sit here a bit. We might sit here. If we do come towards, you know, 83 cents, probably bounce back down again. But in terms of market cipher, let's see what's going on here. So we do have signs. We are bearish, but we do have, so we can see our money's coming out, which is kind of our grandfather indicator. So it's kind of, you know, the VWAP is kind of, you know, the fast little toddler who's just running rapid. You know, he's just going straight. He's going all over the place. You've got the momentum where it's like a normal, you know, jogging pace, and then obviously you've got the money flow, which is kind of the grandfather, who he's kind of cheating, he's in his mobility scooter, but he is still slower than everyone else. But you know, he's like the old timer. He's wise. He knows what's going on. So you know, when you see a negative money flows coming out, we're in a negative trend. So we should start to see coming down. But again, this is telling us, market cipher is telling us the direction. It's not telling us where. So we're not really going to move too much. But we can see, you know, kind of this is the situation. So we do have a negative money flow. So money's coming out. So we have a negative trend. Momentum is negative, so we're going to have a negative movement. But our VWAP is coming up, so this candle might still be positive, which makes sense as we are at the EMA point, so we could like bounce off the EMA. But if this starts to come up, we could see things start to come up, and then we'll be bearish again or bullish again. So what I kind of see happening is we're going to come towards on the 1st of February, bouncing off this breaker block. This will start to become bullish, and then we'll bounce off the fair value gap up here somewhere. This whole, all I just said is a big translation for I think we're going to continue to crab for Matic, and that's pretty much it for Matic. Yeah, so we're stuck at the 80 cent range. Our EMA is at the 80 cent range, so I don't know if we're going to go too much lower. It's all a bit of a mess, but I think this is kind of where Matic is right now for Matic. So that's kind of the situation I think we are in. We also do have you know, a lower movement, which is a bit bearish. I mean, with market cipher, there's many methods of reading how things are moving. Obviously, you can use it as kind of this like an RSI kind of system where you can read if the price is going down and the momentum is going upwards, or the money flow is going upwards. There's a lot of ways of reading it, but sometimes some people read it kind of in this situation where you have a lower high kind of situation for the or lower red dots or lower green dots for the momentum, which is a bearish thing, which makes sense. It does kind of line up with what we're saying right now, but it's kind of there's better ways of reading market cipher than doing it like that. But there's so many methods using market cipher. But you know, we do have links. You know, go to the Telegram. I think I might have a link for I do have a link for Simple Significance especially, but you know, with market cipher, you know, get in touch with me. Wink, wink. You know, it says study for some time now. That is good. What for drawing TA or for what? What have you been studying for now? But yeah, I'll leave that question for him. On my list, that is it. That's all I have on my list. We are 5 minutes and 43 seconds left on the clock. So if anyone, oh yes, JUP, forgot. Is it on Bird? I mean, pretty much everything's on Bird. I think that, and obviously, you know, there will be things which have JUP, but it's not going to be anything. Yeah, if I go to KuCoin, it's not going to have anything. Yeah, so there's nothing going to be here. When also, yeah, I will look at when. Yeah, so, you know, obviously market cipher doesn't really, you know, understand what's going on right now. JUP and Binance, let me have a look. Right, okay, yeah, so this is a bit better. Nah, I'm not doing this. Let's go back to here. So is JUP on here? We can probably look here. This is it there, this is it. This will have a more consistent graph. It's a bit better. It's a bit rough. We have more to look at. I think I tried this last stream, but I couldn't find anywhere to actually really look. I mean, we've kind of got this range. I'll try to draw what I have. We're going down. Well, you know, we've kind of got, you know, hold on. Move, please. There we go. So we've kind of got this, you know, sort of situation here. You know, got this, you know. What? Okay, so in an hour we could see a pump towards $1. That's not going to happen. It's 50 minutes. I'm drawing nothing. There's not really a consistent price area. There's no graph to go to because it's just so near. There's no point. But 91 cents. You know, give it 1 hour. 91 cents for JUP maybe. Price is constant. Oh, what for Matic? So have you been studying Matic's plan now, and the price is constant? In terms of what is it like? Is it crabbing? Is it been like in a range or something like that, or is it more like algorithmic in terms of the way it moves? Right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah. That's what I mean. Same with Bitcoin as well. Bitcoin has been doing the same thing. Obviously, you know, the Black Magic indicator itself. Yeah, I will look at when as well. Yeah, Bitcoin's been doing the same thing. We've been at a strong. Obviously, I'm not saying Bitcoin is. You know, Bitcoin does kind of hold quite a big grasp on the market. I'm not saying Bitcoin, is a one-to-one replication of Matic. Obviously, Matic is completely own thing. But when Bitcoin kind of moves in a certain way, the market kind of also moves in the same way. But yeah, price is constant. Yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah, we did see something on the graph. I still think we're gonna cram a bit more for Matic. But yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. I've identified this range. We've been in this range for quite a while, it seems. Multiple days. I think we're going to continue to be in. I don't really think there's been much I've seen on the graph which is going to suggest to me that we're going to break out of anywhere. I will look at when. Also, actually, I do want to see this, which is a bit off topic, which was this absolutely incredible movement we had. Obviously, this was the 50-minute, but just to point out, we did enter this box and then we dropped down a bit. So I'm just going to point that out. And then we came to the equilibrium point. So for Web3 out there, obviously I know this was the 15-minute, but we entered this order block area, and then obviously it was a support area, so we bounced. And I said we either bounce off equilibrium and stay in the discount and look for longs, but we had some bullish signs, so we broke up into the premium, and then we hit this area of, so we can see back here, there was probably some fair value gap, and we bounced down. It doesn't matter. It's some rapid movement, but I did want to show the graph which I drew. I believe it was last stream or something like that. But when I think I've already drawn on when somewhere. I don't know. I don't think it was the hour, as it was. Oh no, I drew a big line, didn't I? Yeah, I drew that up there. Let's go back to. I'll go back to 1 hour. See if there's any an actual big trend I can see. Because you kind of see this is here. Got a bounce off here. It's quite rough though. It's not really anything too strong. I can't really see anything like a fair value gap or anything significant pointing out to me. Obviously, we had this fair value gap. Not really. I really hate drawing. Obviously, I don't want to be like, oh yeah, I just completely focus on market side for nothing else. But it makes it a lot harder to actually draw something. I kind of want to prove, whenever I draw graphs, it's kind of like I draw it, I figure out what I think of different graphs, and then it's my goal to try and explain how I'm thinking and showing. But there's not a lot to look at. Come on, the 1 hour, it's very hard to look at it. So we can kind of see. So this looks like the highest point. So I'll draw a box here actually, because it kind of has. Where's the box? There we go. I don't know why it's always pink on this platform. I always change it back to white. I don't know why it's pink. All right, let me zoom in. Zoom properly so we can actually see what's going on with this. Okay, it's a bit rough to draw. There we go. Perfect. So it does seem like we have a resistance area there. We also have another one, and this is actually a lot better because the candles are of equal or pretty much equal width here. Which is good, and what you want to see on a box, an order block like this. So we've got another one at about 13 to 14 here, or about 14 cent at the top. So I've managed to be able to somehow from this awful chart identify some sort of resistance points. It looks like we're in an uptrend. We're bouncing off this line. We're probably going to come back down to this line and going to bounce. I don't think we're going to break anything. We're quite low right now. So we're probably going to consistently come back up. I think we're probably going to have a continuous uptrend for when, and then probably meet here and then just break out, and then we get $1 million, and then everyone's rich. So yeah, that's what I see for when. Yeah, it's quite hard to draw, but we're in an uptrend. We're going to continue to go up. We're going to come towards the 8398 and then go back up again, and then continue to go up. Does that sound so fizzy? Yeah, I mean some of the beat. I mean I think all the beats. On the stream, I don't know how loud it is on the stream. To be fair, I don't have my headset in, but all the beats are made by me. I'm multi-talented. You might not know this. I do everything. I'm Mr. Maker. That's what I am. I do TA. I make indicators. I make this. I do all. Nice volume. That's good. Yeah. I mean, I do it on -44. In terms of the ratio between my voice and the music. I think it's quite good in terms of its ratio. But our clock in the top has gone off, which means it's forcing me to say goodbye. So thank you for joining me on this stream. It was more of a chilled one. I was kind of aware before going to this it was going to be more chilled because obviously there was news coming out, or it has come out. I kind of felt like I was like, like I kind of just wanted to chill and just draw the graphs and just kind of do it. I didn't really want to go really deep into it, but hopefully I justified my TA well. I'll leave this up on the screen. I'm quite bullish on a couple of things. I'm bullish on TIA. Obviously, I'm quite bearish on Solana, Ethereum, and Bitcoin. Polygon. I mean, we're coming down, but I think we could have. I don't really think we're going down much more. So I think, like I said, we could probably start to round out when our momentum reaches the 0 line, when we're not overbought or anything. We could probably start to see ourselves go back up again, and then, like I said, bounce off this breaker block area and come back up. So very soon, bullish on Polygon, bullish on TIA, bearish on the other three. Bullish on when's just going to continue to go up. Jupiter to the moon, $1 million. We're going to all be driving a lot of Lamborghinis. I'm still, again, I think we will need to go sit down somewhere, have a drink and figure out what colours we want all of our cars to be. We could do it like a theme, like pink and then yellow. But I don't know. On the other side, there's quite a lot of colours. I think that's probably the hardest part. The hardest part wasn't getting the money because clearly we just got given all the money. We have all the money now. I mean, we're all going to be gazillionaires. But obviously it's going to be figuring out which one we want. There's a lot of cars to buy. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you. Our next stream is going to be on Friday. I did it at 8. I did it a bit earlier. But I probably keep doing it at 8:30. I didn't want to do it a bit earlier tonight. But I'm doing it at 8:30 because I thought people were going to stream for the news, and I didn't want to stream over them. Everyone's going to be going to watch them. So that's why I did it a bit earlier. But other than, again, like I said, check all the links at the bottom. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next stream. Goodbye. I'll ignore this. I need to change it.